Hi guys, welcome back. This is Sierra, your host with Boss and Biz and Beauty Podcast. This podcast is for all the mom bosses, boss babes, entrepreneurs, and all of those creatives out there in the industry. Welcome back, and let's get into the show. So I have Dove here. Can we just give her just a round of applause? Because the fit is fitting, the hair is hairing, and the makeuping is makeuping. It's so good to have you, first and foremost. I know we pretty much had connected. This is, our first real kind of interaction where we're able to kind of talk about things, but we did meet each other at the pop-up, and that's how we met. I have been a customer of the skin line, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself so that you guys can get a little feel of who she is and what she does.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. So my name is Dove, and I am the owner of a Virago Lux skincare, and so it's skin and beard care. Most people just usually associate it with skin, but we do beard care as well.
Yes.
And so we are an all vegan, 100% organic skincare line, all handcrafted artisan items, and we have all clean and natural ingredients.
Yes.
And so I think that there's something just luxurious about someone handcrafting their skincare.
Yes. I feel like it's all about too, like the energy and the love that you're putting into those products too. I think being a person that has had a line myself, like I know the work that it takes to, do the stickers, put the product in, making sure everything's sanitary. It's a lot of work that goes into it. So like when you're getting like a product, it's not just the product, it's like the work that you do and that you put in it. So it's very much, my skin has been loving it, y'all. It's like crack. I spilled one of mine. I was like, girl, it's a SOS. It's a SOS.
But you know what, that actually had me thinking, right? Because you were not the only person that asked if they can just pick it up, right? Because it's some sort of emergency,
right?
And so one of my goals is trying to get us in more stores here in Houston,
like
so
a storefront for
yes,
sure.
That, and also Hair Run is sort of like the Uber for beauty supplies. So if I can, and we're trying to work that out, so we can be able to have it delivered to folks.
Yes, ma'am.
That would be fabulous.
And I think I love that it is so easy to nowadays, because around the time I was doing it, I think Uber was just kind of like coming out. But no, yeah, girl, get on that. Because I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna have that stuff on a schedule, okay?
Well, I mean, you can get it on subscription on my website. So
see, she on it. She know what we need.
Some people are just like, I just send it to me every month, and so they can sign up for the product, and you get 10% off when you do.
Okay, after this, and you know what I'll be doing. So I do want to ask, like, how did you come up with the name, and what inspired you to start
the business?
So
Virago means a very strong woman, a warrior woman.
Okay.
And it's also associated with women who have masculine strength. And so it was sort of a negative connotation at first.
Right.
And now it's a little different. Can we curse here?
Yeah, girl.
Okay.
I'm Black Irish. We potty mouth over here, okay?
Because you know how before it's like bitches, and depending on how you use it is one thing.
Right.
But if you're like, bitch.
Yeah, that's
right, exactly. So it's very similar to the word Virago.
Got you.
And so,
that.
Lux, because we are a luxury company.
Yes.
But no, I started this business because I had moved here from New York.
Okay.
And my skin just went out of whack because I was going from 4 seasons to 1.5?
Girl, if.
It's mostly very hot here in Houston.
And humid.
Very humid. And so, I kept wearing makeup over my skin because I was hiding everything, the blemishes, the breakouts, and my skin wasn't breathing.
Right.
And so I tried the very, I tried the old school stuff. I tried the very high end, expensive stuff.
Right.
And nothing just wouldn't work. And if it did work, it didn't stick. It would just stop working after a few weeks.
Yeah. And I can feel that. I actually had some skin issues growing up. I played basketball for a very long time. So my face was always sweaty. So for me, I didn't think I was at a a point where I was like, I'll never see clear skin. And I will definitely have to say that even when I get compliments on my skin now because of her, I feel like the last 3 months, if you've been giving me the skin compliments, it's been the sauce over here. But I am a skin girly like through and through. Like it is such a it can be an investment. It is an investment because we can't expect cheap things to make big results.
Right.
That's something I had to learn. SPF was a big game changer in my skin routine. And so I think it's just the education of knowing your skin, knowing your lifestyle, and then seeing what works for you. So I do love that, you did something out of a creation for yourself, but also to being able to provide, this product and these products, to your clients because girl, less struggle. It'd be a less struggle. Yeah. But I do love that. And then and how long have you been doing the products now?
So I created the business maybe almost 2 years.
Okay.
Almost.
Yeah.
So more like a year and a half. And I just hit the ground running. You know? I started doing vendor markets, and I did 65 vendor markets last year.
Damn,
yes.
girl.
So we sell online, and we also, and you can see the display. So I usually like to call it a pop-up boutique.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
I love
this is more than just a table. No shade.
It is. No.
No shade at all. But
presentation's everything, girl.
Right.
It really is.
Especially for beauty.
Yes. And I think that's my point. Because when I was at the makeup pop-up shop, your thing was the first thing I saw. I was like, I love that. And when I did I was on a panel doing a course to kind of teach people makeup. I think Nikki is the one that recommended saying that you had this serum. I was like, oh, serum, huh? I was like, well, I need to talk to her. And I think I didn't end up getting to you in enough time before I got there. But when I got there, I was like, oh, this is the girl. And so I came over there, we spoke, and you kind of gave me the rundown, and you kind of gave me like, the whole spiel of like what it's about and how long you started.
First thing you did was look at the ingredients.
Yeah, I did. And I would just like, yes. And so I was just like, okay, like I love this. So I definitely feel like going back to your point, just like how you upscaled your business where it's not just a typical like, okay, it's a natural product,
Right.
It's like, no, this is like real high grade, good quality, good presentation. Like the customer service is, I think, a lot of what it has to do with selling a product because you have to be sellable,
Yeah. I very much lean forward in customer service. So, for instance, I had someone who their package didn't get to them. I got the email, and so I called, I texted, I emailed, and I did everything I could. And then finally, when she got back to me, I made sure that she got her package. Right. So, and it was one of those things that I could just say, you know what, she didn't get it, she'll call me.
Right.
But I wanted to make sure she received her product. So I'm always leaning into customer service first. You can chat on my website as well. Some people just have questions. Like, I'd love to use the collection. How do we do that?
Right.
And so I respond right away. When people order our products, I send them out the same day or the next day. Yeah. Because I don't want you to have to wait. I understand that I am competing in a $1 billion industry with products that are accessible in Walmart, Target, Nordstrom's. And so if you decide to shop with us, I want it to be the best experience.
And I love
And even
that.
the packaging is an unboxing experience.
It is. It is. I think I'm a big girl that can tell when a lot of value has been, really curated in something, and presentation is very big for me as well. So it's just like, it is the customer service, the experience. And I feel like that's what a lot of businesses are lacking is the experience. It's like, you want to talk and greet and cater to your customer like it's their first time that they've ever like met you. And obviously they haven't met you sometimes, obviously, but when it comes to getting a product, like that's what they're going to remember, how you treated them, how fast they got their product. And I think us as a Black owners is like, we do get looked at as like not handling our business most of the times. And that's the thing.
Think there is a higher expectation for us.
For sure.
Right?
Yes.
But also I want to meet that and exceed that.
Right.
So I think it's super important, like I said, to lean into customer service. And then even when we talk on our website, right, because I love to support other businesses, other small business. But I shy away from those that start yelling at me in the policies.
Okay.
So I don't want to be yelled at, right? Girl. I don't want to be demanded or anything like that. I think there's a nice way and a tactful way to sort of explain what your policies are and being kind, right? Because we have to pour into our customers and clients. They are what keeps us going. They keep our business, right?
Yes, exactly.
So why not go above and beyond? And quite honestly, if there's ever, a mistake that is on my part, or if I even took a little longer with shipping, I will offer a discount on the next purchase or give them something a little extra because it was on me.
Right.
So I want to make sure that you know that it was on me. I'm taking accountability and I'm giving you something on top of that.
Yeah, see, y'all need to take the notes, please, pen and paper. And okay, so 2 years since you've been in, what has been the biggest thing you've learned so far in this business?
Oh, wow. I think the biggest thing has been understanding the mental stamina you need to be in business. Right?
That's a whole podcast by itself.
Because
it is,
we on social media, you see the clips. You see a 7-second clip.
Right.
And I can time lapse something and you see it in 30 seconds.
Right.
And it took me 90 minutes.
Girl.
And so, understanding, and there's been times where I've done vendor markets and I do these, pop-up boutiques, and it takes me 90 minutes to set up.
Right.
Just to set up.
Right.
We're not even talking about loading, unloading, dragging your stuff from the car down the block, right? Because you're mobile as well.
Girl, Rex.
And then somebody forgot to tell you that they live on the 5th floor.
And that's what you were asking me. She's like, so are there any stairs that I need to lay? I said, girl, 2 steps, you good.
And you sent the picture. I was like, oh, bless her heart.
Girl, because I'm the same way. I'm like, because it is a thing. And I think that is, being a mobile artist, like people are like, damn, why is she so much? I'm like, I could show you, but it's like, it does not, like what you guys see isn't like what's there. Like it took time, it took preparation.
Right.
I'm sure like for something like a pop-up, you're maybe up like 1 o'clock in the morning, making sure you have everything together. It's like a lot of the stuff that we do is preparation. It's a lot of like time, money, and travel, because here in these Houston streets, okay.
Yeah, gas ain't cheap.
Okay. And I'm actually like feeling a little spoiled because I'm coming from Vegas. I was like, oh, I'm saving a whole like $1 and some change now. But now it's all the same.
It's
now.
over now,
It's right? That window's out. But yes, like I do love that, customer service is really at the top. And I do feel like professionalism is a very big thing.
Oh, absolutely.
As well. And I can tell straight on, like even just after the or during the makeup panelists event, you had like really good questions, very involved. And I think that is like very essential to knowing what your clients want, what your audience are, kind of giving you that feedback, right?
Yeah,
and like, how do you take feedback when it comes to like customers where it's like how do you feel like whenever you get those before and afters with your products? Like,
so I welcome feedback.
Yeah.
Both. I haven't gotten very much negative feedback, but when I was developing certain products, I would send it out to like friends and family, people with different skin types and things, and they would give me the feedback and say, hey, I think we need a little bit of this. And I love that. I want them to give me feedback because if it's not working, I want to know. Right. And I wanted to be inclusive. I wanted to work not only for just myself and my skin, but I wanted to work for different types of skin. And so I really focused on it being, products that work for all skin types.
Yes.
But I do believe that that being able to adjust to that and take feedback is super important. I was talking to my husband recently because he's a chef.
Right.
And so he can cook something and you can have a bite of it and he gets that instant gratification, right? He makes like honey garlic lamb chops.
Oh, you said lamb. Ooh, girl. Hold up. He do private dinners?
You see, he does. Yes, he caters, right? We both, that's another
Hubby,
business.
we got to talk. Because you said lamb chops.
You get the gratification before you even get the meal.
Girl.
You see? But when it comes to skincare, it really is dependent upon the person.
Yeah,
because someone can say, oh, well, it didn't work for me, but they only used it twice.
Right. Yes.
So it's not only, and like you said, to your point, that's the beauty and skincare is a commitment, also in time.
Yes.
Right. So it's not just you're investing your money, but you're investing your time as well.
Yeah.
Because skincare is all about consistency.
Girl. Yes, absolutely. And I think that I can vouch for that, just because, like I said, me having my skin issues, and it definitely was the consistency, and me going to cosmetology school, like I did learn certain things. And it actually, they say, let me give y'all a quick little gem. So when you're using a new product, you want to give it at least 2 weeks to see any kind of results, because your skin is obviously needed to going, and then some people think it doesn't work actually because they start to break out. So that is like what you call your purging stage. So it's like you start a product, it's doing its thing, it's going to start, basically it's working from the inside out. So everything that's not good comes out, and then that's when things start to get better. So people think like, oh, I'm breaking out. I'm like, that means it's working. You got to keep going. So stay consistent and beautiful results, because
I mean, even our beard care, right? Like we get before and afters. We do. Like our customers are absolutely lovely, and they're really great with telling me like, I love your stuff, and subscribing, and that warms my heart. But I also know that there's some folks out there that love it, but they don't have a chance to let us know that they love it, right? And so because we are, doing things like podcasts and stuff like this, so that we can build brand awareness, hearing from our customers and then referring to others is of the most importance for small business, right?
It is, yeah.
So I have great reviews for the skincare, but then the beard care,
right?
Some of the gentlemen, they just don't, right?
Yeah,
they like what they
like,
and that's it. They're not
they ain't trying to
reviews.
initiate nothing. They just like, yeah, it works. Yeah, I'm smelling good. The honeys is on me.
Right. And then in some cases, like their wife or their mother or sister or cousin bought it for them, and then they're just like, okay, I like it, and that's it. And you never hear anything,
right? Yeah.
So, but the gentlemen that do let me know, like, I love it. I love the smell, and then, when creating these ingredients and creating these formulas, smell is very important, very important to me.
The aromatherapy is healing.
Absolutely.
It really is. It is.
And I wanted it to also feel almost ambiguous, right? So when you are smelling the beard products, it doesn't smell too masculine. It doesn't smell feminine. It's right in between.
Like that unisex.
So, right.
Love
so that if someone is next to you, then they can also appreciate it, but it doesn't overpower your cologne.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was very, very thoughtful about fragrances and consistency.
I'm sure I did smell it, but I might. I got some gifts for Valentine's Day I need to shop for. So, but
we're having a special actually. You can get both collections up until the 14th actually.
Okay.
And both, because originally they're $65 each, but if you buy online, both collections up until the 14th, you can get them for $100. And that is the bar, the moisturizer, the oil, the bar, the toner, and the serum. So 6 products.
So I'm sure in this video y'all have already seen her layout, but her layout is just, it's giving me OCD, perfectionist, luxury, like nothing out of place. Like literally, I'm like looking, I'm like, I could not have set this up no better. Like seriously. And we both had busy days today. Like I got busy, she was busy, and I just first off just loved your energy from jump, and just like talking with you over the phone when we were kind of like trying to rearrange a couple things because I had some things come up, and I just really appreciate just people not only just taking the time to be here and to talk, but just really finding those genuine like beautiful souls, because Texas is it could be a little snaky around here.
It's like you gotta big and small at the same time.
It really is, but it's just like finding good people. I really do value that a lot. I'm a military brat, so for me, like finding those connections young was hard because we were always like the up and go and not knowing when. So when now as an adult, I'm just like, when I find good people, like I water those relationships, and I try my best, because as busy as a girl be, I'd be like, okay, girl, we got to find some time and do something. So I do appreciate you just, being here, sharing your story, and just, doing this for yourself, because as business owners, it's like every little thing helps. And it's just like, it really is about coming together. And because we cannot do this alone, y'all. Like we wish we could, but no, we cannot. Like having your team is such a powerful thing. Even if it's just in the means of supporting one another, where it's sharing something or being able to, hey, this girl is looking for this. Like, I think that is such a big thing with my podcast that I love, is the connection and then building as well, and just keep on, helping each other out until we reach the top, because we all trying to make it out here.
That's right. And, and that's what I was talking about earlier with the mental stamina, because, if I have a full-time job, right?
Right.
And I was in education for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I've been in operations for about 15 years.
Wow.
And so I've helped build many businesses and schools. And I have worked so many hours, and if I can do it for them, why wouldn't I do it for myself?
Girl, I feel like that was literally my thought process when it came to me kind of getting into doing a business for myself. And I'm just like, you know what? Why? And it's actually funny because I kind of forced myself into entrepreneurship a little bit, because right when COVID happened, I was pretty much on maternity leave with my daughter. My daughter was only 3 months by that point. So once I was seeing everyone getting laid off, people, not knowing what was going on, at the time, I just launched my hair and skincare, and that's how I stayed afloat. So I was the one, doing the deliveries for people because people weren't able to find things in the stores. So COVID for me and like starting my own business was a blessing. I think that was the time where I was able to be a mom, basically stay at home, went out and did my runs when I needed to. And it was a good feeling to know like I'm giving my products to someone, but then also too, like I had so much support with that. And I know like when you're meeting people and you're educating people on your products, people are using them, like that feedback does mean a lot. Cause girl, it's like when we're going through those hard times or those moments where it's slow or it's nothing's like the traction's not coming, like we really do appreciate and value like our audience, like our tribe. Exactly. I love that you said that. But yes, it's so true. Like our tribe really does keep us moving, and it's like it doesn't always have to be you supporting us with money. It just is like giving us words of encouragement, because we do need that sometimes. Like we're hard. I know I'm hard on myself, so I just like when I'm hearing like I'm proud of you, or just what something is doing for someone that you've created with your hands. That's right. It's that it just goes deeper than that. It really does.
I had a very deep conversation with Sean, and I had told him about like that gratification that you get from your product, right? Yeah. And I was like, babe, like I don't get that. Sometimes I don't know. Yeah. I have a close circle that I've created here in Houston, and folks are honest with me and they love the products. Yeah. I said, but sometimes I equate that to sales, right? But I also have to understand, and I have to remind myself sometimes that these products are 30-day supply, right? Yeah. So I won't hear from you for about a month and a half, right?
Unless you like me and you spill your stuff.
So it's like, I have to wait until my customers are ready. And I totally understand that. But I said, sometimes I'm just going. Yeah. I'm just going. Girl. And I said, sometimes, and then I don't have all of this time, right? I have my full-time work. I help Sean with his catering business. And like I said earlier, we cater 45 days a week. Girl. And then I have my business, and then I quarterback my home. Yeah. Right. So with everything that's happening. Oh, and then I also make beverages and drinks to accompany his food when we cater. So
girl, all the hats. What can't you do?
So I mean, like trying to find all the time to get it done. And I'm like, babe, like I'm just moving. Some people may have more time than I do. They may have more opportunity than I do. Girl. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: they're not gonna outwork me.
Hey,
they're not gonna outwork me.
And that is, I'm glad that you say that, because I feel you, girl. Because I think with all the things many hats that I wear, and with my kids, I have a daughter that's disabled, and so for me, I'm very hands on with her. Sure. And people are like, "Girl, how do you do it?" I'm like, "Well, who else is going to do it?" That's like, right. So that's right. But it's good that you have, people like your husband who are supporting you, because it would be so much harder where it's like, when a partner's not understanding the drive that you have for something, or how, just how passionate you are. Like it takes a lot.
It
a lot
does.
of mental capacity, a lot of discipline, a lot of sacrifices as well.
And
so,
understanding. Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's an entrepreneur as well, because he's full-time.
Right.
So we both, us both having our businesses, we always, like, we have a calendar and we try to move things around. So if he needs support, I go and help him, and then vice versa. But I would say also, like, it's the understanding of it, one, like you said, and it's just being able to have the space to be able to say, yes, this is work time, and then this is not work time.
Yes.
So we commit to date night every week.
That's so good.
Because
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Especially like being two entrepreneurs. I already know.
My
like,
mind is
girl,
going all day, every day.
all the
I will wake up
time.
and be like, babe, I think we should do, did I answer that email? Did I do that? And then he's looking at me like,
good morning.
Yeah, and then sometimes he'll jump out the bed, and not even kiss me because he's just going.
Like, yeah.
So that was one of the things. We're like, no, we're not getting out of bed until we kiss.
Yeah.
To start the day.
And I think that's so important. And I'm glad that we're touching on this because, I mean, I'm, kind of going through my divorce and all of that. So I don't have to like deal with that. But for my situation, he was basically the stay-at-home dad. So for me, it was like I was getting the support, but it was more of the support to, cater to the kids, make sure the house is together. But it does come to a point where I wish that we had more of that understanding of creating time for each other, even just with me being on the go.
Yeah.
And so that's really good to hear that you guys are prioritizing that.
Yeah,
it really is because it's hard.
It is very hard,
It is.
And then, sometimes we try to find a way to mesh businesses as well. Like someone reached out to me just the other day and asked both of us to do pop-ups at the same event.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's the first time I think we've done
Power
that.
couple.
So I was like, okay.
Come on.
I don't know how many times, like, put us close together so we can, like, help one another, But yeah, and then there's some days it's all about his business.
Yeah.
Some days it's all about mine.
Right.
And then it takes a strong person to be able to accept that.
Yeah.
And then you have to, as I'm very strong-willed, I'm very strong-minded, and I know what I like, I know what I want.
Right.
And it's like, you see everything that labels forward, like I'm just very particular about my things,
and that's
right?
so good though.
And when I pack it all in, like,
yeah, girl.
when I pack all my stuff, everything has a place.
Yes.
I'm not throwing stuff in.
Yes.
Because I'm asking you to put something on your face.
Right.
So I need you to see the detail that I'm taking into everything.
I just every time I look at it, I just like girl, it's just giving.
Thank
it literally
you.
is giving. Like I can tell like you take time and like it's you did a good job.
I try to be very
girl.
intentional.
You really were.
I designed the labels. I did all the artwork. We have some satin pillowcases over there now.
And I know, and only because I have done my own labels, girl, y'all, these labels,
the measurements.
It is crazy.
Yeah. And then when you put it on crooked, you gotta take it off and put it back on because it can't be crooked. I mean, you can't do it.
And then, girl, I was like, when I did my rebrand, I was so excited about it. But girl, it took me like 2 months to like get everything because I wanted to get into the scientific names, like where you literally, it looks like you could have bought it from the store.
That's right.
The only thing that's missing is the barcode.
That's right. That's right.
So it looks so good. Very clean, very simplicity. Like,
but
I love
still
it.
luxury.
Exactly.
And
it's giving that.
Thank you.
For sure.
Because I know that a lot of all natural, clean, organic products can have sort of like the burlap.
Yep.
And some of those kind of colors and aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I feel like something that has been handcrafted for you is luxury.
Yes.
And so I wanted to give luxury. So just a little bit of a different spin on clean skincare.
I love that.
And
so like when, did you always have the name and stuck with it? Do you ever feel like were you kind of, going between a couple different names in the beginning phases of trying to figure out, or you just knew like it came to you and that was it?
So this is almost a spin-off of a previous business.
Okay.
I used to have like jewelry. So I used to sell jewelry.
Okay.
And it was called Virago by Dove.
Oh.
So
I love that.
I did that for a bit, broke even, and then I was done.
Yeah.
Right. And so when this business came about, and it just happened naturally, really.
Yeah.
I just started creating the serum first. I loved it. And so I also wanted to create something for Sean because he has a great beard. And so that's how beard care came in. And plus I want, folks to be able to take care of themselves.
That is true.
Right? I want men to take care of themselves.
And I mean, hey, let me just tell y'all this, okay? Us women, we like a man that takes care of his skin. Not the bar soap on the face, the little lotion. Like, no, like get you one of these. Get you one of these right here. Okay. I promise you will not regret it, honestly. And so I guess with all the things that you have, done, what has been maybe your biggest accomplishment that you were very proud of last year?
I was awarded Entrepreneur of the Year.
Okay. Work, don't stop. I love that. How did that make you feel? Like what was that moment for you?
Oh man, it makes me feel very honored, even at this moment, because that was my first year, right? Yay. And I was nominated and voted upon amongst my peers, other women in business.
I love that,
and I first of all, I felt seen. I felt so seen that by just being nominated, and then for folks, when my name was called, the room erupted. And I was like, oh my God.
And girl, she was looking fine. It
was giving old Hollywood glam that day.
I was like, what?
Oh, I had to go all out.
Girl.
I was nominated. I was like, oh, absolutely. I had the fur and the gloves, the opera gloves. It was giving.
You were looking damn good. I was like, okay. I was so proud of you for that. And I'm glad I was able to meet you and just like witness that moment. Like, I wish I could have been there, like rooting for you for sure. But congratulations again. That is really great. And I feel like you said something, being seen. And I think that is such a like touchy thing, right? Because it's like we're putting our all in something. It's like our little baby, our business are our baby. And it's like we want to know that we're impacting somehow, some way. It's nice to know that, our clients like it, but it's like, okay. And sometimes it's like it's just that appreciation that you want, but not only that, just being nominated, that's amazing. Like that, you just never know. That's the thing I think for me, it's like, you just never know who's watching. And it's like, for those people who are just like, damn, I don't feel seen. Like, I'm posting, I'm doing all these things, nothing's happening.
You get 3 likes.
You got
on a reel for 3 hours, get 3 likes.
Girl. And but it's like, you have to love it, you have to love those times, and you can't be so in the algorithm all the time. It's just like, if that's your craft and you were good and you were happy with it, you just got to do it. And like, you got to just keep doing it, because someone is going to see it. And not only just that, I like to say, I'm not for everybody. Like, I want the people who are going to attract to me to know, because if I'm like, I always like to say the saying, I'd rather be felt than seen, So I think for me, that is, that's kind of what hits home for me. But I know for a person that like yourself, kind of starting something, having that moment was a really surreal, and it's like motivating. Yeah.
There's some folks that have been in business for 15 years and they don't get recognized. Right. And amongst my peers, no less. Right. And I was so grateful for the fact that, so Nicole is, she has this network called Houston Hotties Social Hour. And so she put the awards together, and she really pushes forward women in business.
Oh, I love that.
And the fact that she said, oh, Dove, I'm going to do an award ceremony. And she did it. And I did not know that I was going to even get nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year, much less then, win the award. And I was just so grateful. And I had done some podcasts after that. Like, it was a really great year. And now I'm actually, I don't know if you have seen it online, but I'm in the top 15 for Entrepreneur of Impact.
Good.
So Entrepreneur of Impact, the prize is a $25,000 grant for your business, an article in Forbes, and a mentor meeting with Damon John from Shark Tank.
Okay.
So y'all go out there and vote.
With the quickness.
Right. We need that.
So awesome, babe. Like, seriously. And I feel like I love that I've been connecting with people who have things going for themselves. And I think when it comes to just having that community of women, and it's just, it could be so catty, right? Especially like in the beauty industry, me doing hair and makeup. I also model as well. So it's like, it's very cutthroat. It's very small. It's very, it's just very everything. But I do feel like when you have just those strong women who are doing the damn thing and then support one another, it really just goes so much further. And I just really wish people understood collaboration over competition.
That's all 2025 for me. Collaboration.
Yes.
And there are so many different networking groups out there. And I've, involved myself in quite a few in different aspects, whether it was a pop-up or maybe I went to a coffee chat.
Right.
But I do like the mission that Nicole is moving forward, because there are no mean girls. No one's catty, right?
Yeah.
And I was just telling Nikki, because so Debbie, I am a brand ambassador for, she's a makeup artist.
Okay.
DS Glams. And so I work with her a lot. And then her and Nikki work together. So Debbie was busy. So I said, hey, I'm going to go to Nikki. There was no cattiness.
Right.
They were like, oh my gosh, I love her makeup.
Yes.
And that was such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And being that I'm not from here, right?
Right.
Building my network is so important.
Yeah, it is. I
And
feel
you
like
just
that
have to find the
networking is
right networking group.
Girl, that's part.
Key.
That is that part.
You gotta watch. You gotta pay attention. And then I'm gonna tell you, if you're going to join, you know what I mean? Do not play on both sides of the fence.
Girl.
Okay, that is just girl code, period.
Yes.
One person telling you one thing,
right.
Keep it close to the chest.
And I think that's important, because I do feel like, of course we're women. We have other things outside of business that we may want to talk about. And I think just finding those people who can, just keep that where it's like, it's more intentional. It's like, if I know if I come to you, I know that's with you, because it is, you just never know what people are going through, and it's just like, I know when I first moved here, going through everything I had going on, I still actually haven't made a year here, and like, God is so good. Like, I would
have never known that.
No.
Look at you, girl.
Yeah. So I thank you. And I remember actually, real quick story. So the day that I end up getting the flyer for the makeup panelist workshop, girl, I cried. Like, I had broken down, because I was like, going. And then it just took that one moment where he's like, damn, I'm on a picture, getting ready to get on stage, do something I really love. And I think it was just that moment where I just finally relished in a moment.
You were in your element on stage.
And I felt like, I was like, wow, like, I guess because you're like, we talked about that going. It's just like, you just don't. I feel like I try to remember to enjoy those tiny joys and those small wins, and I feel like just coming here, getting myself settled, and it's like, I could have folded, I could have folded, like, oh, it's all over. But right. It's like, you have to keep going, like, even when it's tough, because that's where your endurance is going to come in. Right. And I felt like the thing that came to me that really got me to, like, just get over it and, like, get it going was that I know I see myself running something way bigger than where I'm at now. So if I can't handle this, like, these things are preparing me for that. Like, because in business, you never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
You have to be able to adapt and move accordingly. Like you do. Like, I mean, COVID happened, and look what happened. Like, everybody's having to adjust. Everybody's having to work from home. Everybody's having to do all these things. So I really do think that's the biggest thing in business. If you can learn to adapt and I don't want to like to use the word conform, because I feel like that's very, it feels like you're putting yourself in a box. And I feel like I'm a very out of the box type of girl. But I do feel like you just have to be able to, just really find where you fit in, but still be true to yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I also think, and to piggyback off of that, is really, putting roots into your why and just understanding what you do, and also just learning your craft, right? And so I think that sometimes we can get to these spaces where things aren't going our way, they're not moving, or perhaps if I do a pop-up, I vet my pop-ups very well. Yeah. But I've done some where I made 0 sales. Right. But you make the most of it. Right. You do content. Right. You do
one thing we
networking, right?
One thing we gonna do is do some content.
Networking and content, things like that. And so, you set up for something else. And then when those slow moments, when I do have, say, slow sales, or if it just happens to be slow, there aren't that many opportunities. I'm like, okay, what can I do? I'm doing something every single day for my business. Right. Every day I ask myself, what did I do for my business today? And sometimes that means resting. That's okay too. Girl. Rest and recovery is essential.
you got me there.
Sometimes I have to tell myself, okay, just rest.
Yes. And so
I can charge up and go harder.
And that is such a and so with the podcast, that's a lot of what I try to talk about is self-care and mindfulness. And I think rest, anytime I hear rest, it's something I have to be like, girl, yes, because I'm not going to lie. I do not take my own advice sometimes, but it can be hard, right? But it is so essential because you want to put your best self and your best foot forward every day, of course, right? But you can't be everything every day. It's like we would want to be, right? But it's very draining. I feel like with us in business, it's a lot of people pleasing. It's a lot of, a lot of mental that goes into what we do. So rest is very essential. And I feel like if you're not a person that can remember to rest, you need to have an accountability partner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And, rest and recovery is productive.
Yeah, it is.
And also saying no. I feel like I have been saying no kindly, right? Right. But understanding like these are the goals, is it aligned with that? And if it's I can veer off every now and then, but not too much. And then I realize that my yes becomes so much more powerful when I say no. Yep. And sometimes I need to just bring it in. Yeah. And and like you said, you can fall into people pleasing because you want to make people happy. Right. And then, yes, I am happy to do that. And then when I realize like someone is now taking advantage and it's like, okay, now you're crossing a boundary. Right. And so we have to set those boundaries.
Girl, boundaries, that I feel like boundaries is definitely a big thing. And I think, it wasn't until I started doing therapy where I honestly, girl, I was a person that was not decompressing. And I remember this lady literally asked me, she's like, what do you do to decompress? And I was like, shower. She's like, no, ma'am, that is a necessity. And so from that point, girl, I have learned to find time to decompress. And I was like, dang, like you really just taught me something very valuable, because when you're so on the go and you're doing all the things and you don't take time to just be and be still. Cause I actually was one of those people, when I rest, I felt guilty. Like I felt guilty to rest. And I remember talking about this on a episode, and a lot of my artist friends was like, girl, I thought I was the only one. I was like, girl, no, like you're not alone. But what you were saying, it's just like rest is it's something that you should do. Like you have to, or you're gonna burn yourself out. And when you're burnt out, the whole operation goes down.
It's literally driving around on E. Yes, literally.
You gotta be able to fill that cup. Like you cannot pour from an empty cup. Yeah, you can't. Absolutely can. And so with all the things that you have with getting into your business, things are going, you're having these accomplishments, like what are you most excited about for 2025?
So I'm excited about being invited to podcasts and magazines, and I have some articles coming up as well. Again, the main focus is collaboration and brand awareness. Yes. And brand awareness is very broad. It is. But I am looking to do more business to business with beauty professionals. Right. I absolutely love that beauty professionals love our products because it's one thing, don't get me wrong, it's one thing folks that don't know, they learn, it's a teachable moment, and I love it. But it is another thing when someone says, no, I know skin, I know products, right? This is good. Yes. It brings this a different caliber to it. It does.
Right? Girl, they are so good. I might need to be getting some actually before you leave.
No, I got you, girl. I have you.
Actually, because I think I used the rest of my serum 2 days ago. I was like, girl.
I had a esthetician, she left me a message and she's like, girl, I love this face soap. Yeah. I don't feel tight. I don't feel stripped or dry. And so she just went on and told me, she's like, you need to market more to, estheticians. Yeah. And so I do want to work with more estheticians, beauty pros, and that's where the collaboration comes in. And also be able to, have our products available in like-minded shops, right? Maybe barbershops and things like that. So our beard care, and then different spas and massage therapy studios. But it just has to align, right? Yeah. And so I'm looking forward to that, so I can finally be able to say, yes, you can get Virago Lux at this location
and
this location. And then,
it's coming. It's
coming. Right?
It's
coming.
It girl. I got a couple people I need to send your way because my dad is actually a barber. So I actually probably got you on that. And the man stays busy.
Okay.
So, but I do love that, you said the word aligned. And I love that you're saying that because it's like, these are your babies. I want someone to care for them just as much as I would care. Of course, I'm going to care more, but it's like being intentional with who you're working with it goes so much. It's just a thing. Right. You should be intentional about your business because you want someone to, value, not just the product, but you as a person as well. And I feel like that's very important to me when I'm working with someone or, I pick and choose who I have my clients. I don't have to take every client that's in my DM if it doesn't align, because not all money ain't good money. Y'all, okay. Yeah. I'd rather have my peace and work with the people I want to work with and keep it moving. Like we're not trying to live a stressed life over here. Okay. Right. But I'm excited about that for you. And I think esthetician is definitely the route to go, especially for the people who, obviously they're doing skin, but those that like to cater towards the natural side of things when it comes to things. So I'm super excited about that for you.
I did a pop-up with Soul Cycle.
Okay. Yeah.
I did a pop-up with them last year, and when I tell you everybody was coming out and they just loved it. Yeah. And then I thought about, and that's another thing, like I've learned real life experience through every pop-up we've done. I've done everything from church bazaars. Yeah. I've done, and let me tell you, I did a church bazaar, I made the most money. And let me tell you, they were out there buying. Okay,
y'all hear that? Take notes.
I did Reggae Fest. So I've done these big margarita fest. Oh, that was great. Oh, it was great. Spice got a package. She loved our product. She was headlining last year. That was our second year doing it. Right. But I've also done some of the smaller ones, right? And I've even done TSU, Homecoming. And so with every different pop-up, there's maybe a teachable moment, right? So for TSU folks, they're a bit young, maybe in their 20s, they don't have a skincare regimen. Right. So that is more of a teachable moment about what it is to have one. Right. And then I might do a church bazaar where everybody's a bit older. And so they know their skin and they just want to go clean now. Right. So it's a different, sale and for the
I love
audience.
That. And I love that you're getting like different perspectives. You're getting different age. So you're really getting a good variety to really like get those analytics in there, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's like, that is like the thing that you should be taking when it comes to pop-ups. Like, of course, you want to make your money when you get out there, but you have to learn and get those experiences because that's really the way to learn. That's how you keep growing. That's how you know where your weaknesses and where your strengths are. And I think that is an important thing to have in your business is not always saying like what's next because, at some point you should be content, right? Sure. I think I was one of those people when it came to something, I'm like, okay, what's next? And I was like, you know what, Sierra, you need to sit the hell down
and appreciate what's happening now.
Yes, and then just stay persistent on what you already sustain what are you already doing because sometimes we do get in our head where it's like it's not enough or what's next and I'm just like, girl, like let it do what it's gonna do and let it run its course. Of course when things come up, you may want to try something different, like of course like you're gonna want to have ideas that you want to put out there, but I want to just preach to people a little bit to just learn how to be content at a certain point. Because I felt like there was a time where I have my vision. I'm a vision board girl. And I remember having that moment where I literally accomplished all my goals, right?
I love that for you.
And so when I got to that moment where I was like, dang, I did everything I wanted to do. And I'm like looking around, I'm like,
now what? Did you have that thought?
Girl. So then I'm just like, okay, I'm here. And so it's just like, and I think that's where my mind was going like, okay, what's next? But I'm like, well, no, girl, like you reached your goals.
You did that.
Sustain that.
That's right.
See how that goes. And it's like, why would you want to change something that's working?
Yeah. Sit in that.
So until something's not working, this is what we're doing.
vision is super important, you know.
It is.
Sitting down and just, I mean, you can't hit a target you can't see.
Right.
And I think when it comes to business, sometimes we can get really bogged down in sales and we equate that to success.
Right.
And it's not, yes, of course, sales are very important, but connection is as well.
Yes.
And because, you know, and I've done a few podcasts already, and so, you know, I've been asked like, well, why? And I said, well, you know what? Sometimes you just have to, you know, meet with people. You want to tell your story because as a small business owner, we have the unique perspective of being relatable. Right. So no one knows the owner of Clinique.
Right.
Or Estee Lauder.
Right.
But you know the owner of Virago.
Right.
So I can use it to my advantage in being able to appreciate you as a customer and lean into that customer service and be able to be accessible to you.
Yes.
And so, you know, I did a podcast with someone recently. Then she asked me to be a vendor at one of her events. Someone then came up to me and said, I heard you on her podcast.
Aww.
She bought 3 collections from me.
Yeah.
And customers come up and, you know, so it's like everything that you're doing, like I said, if it's aligned, you know, as soon as we spoke about, you know, you having me on this, you know, on your podcast, I just love the fact that you didn't know me from a hole in the wall.
Right.
You looked at my product. You was like, okay, I like this. I watched you. You're like looking at ingredients. You start touching. I was selling my spiel, and she's just like, I'm just gonna try this. You know, you know, because the spiel is a spiel, right? But she knows what she knows, and as a professional, you know, anybody can tell anything. But you were like, no, I want to make sure like this is good because I'm about to put my name on this in front of people.
Yes.
And so you did skin prep, and I can say you were so passionate about it, and you were in your element.
Yeah, I was.
You know, and you were like, oh yeah, this is good. And you came back, and I was so happy when you're like, Dove, I love this stuff.
Yes, it was, girl. It was so good,
it.
and I feel like, girl, y'all think I'm playing. Like, I'm literally cannot wait to like do my skin routine tonight because we got the holy grail right here. But no, I do love that, and I think so. Like I mean, I know what stands out for you, but like, what do you think what do you think is something that's you stand out from all the rest of those companies that are out there? Like, what makes you unique and like, I don't want to say more valuable, but we gonna say that.
Yeah, I can totally answer that. Integrity.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. That is so good.
Everything I do with integrity in my own life.
Yes.
Right? Of my values, and I also go to therapy.
Yes.
And so we've worked on values, and you narrow down. And I suggest everyone to do this. Understand what your values are. Right. This is going to help you in business, personal relations. Anything, honestly. Know your values. It'll help you make moves.
It is so,
And so what you do is you start with 20 values, break it down to 10, and it's very hard work. It's very hard.
I was like, oof.
And then ultimately, my number one value was self-respect. And so self-respect and integrity come together.
Right.
And so everything I do when it comes to our products, we use 100% organic.
Yes.
And I don't cut corners ever. And so I have, you know, dedicated equipment, and, you know, we're masked up and gloved up making products, and everything is clean and sanitary.
Yes.
And so if it's not good enough for me, then it's not good enough for you.
I love
and
that.
so I'm really, really big on integrity. Even when I'm putting these things together, sometimes Sean is with me. He's like trying to find the shortcut. He's like, do you have to do this? Do you have to? Yes. You don't understand. Like, women, we love this stuff, you know,
we do.
And I do not cut corners. So, you know, I'm bringing the banner, I'm bringing the mirror, I'm bringing it all, you know, because I want everyone to have the same experience, because that is important. And what sets us apart is making sure that, so the aloe vera that are in these products is straight from the plant.
Right.
So I'm not using the gel, right? So I buy the plant, cut it open, scoop out the gels, infuse it into the oils.
Come on now.
And I could cheat,
right?
And it would probably, you know, it would be cheaper on well, not cheaper, but it would be less time if I use the gel, right? But I'm using the plant, and I'm peeling and cutting and blending and do all
that
the things.
Plant medicine though is the real. It's the real healing, like for real. I think I'm a very holistic girly, so I think if I can do anything through herbs and oils, that's what I'm doing. I will do that before a pill any day.
That's right. That's right. And I always feel like, you know, if I was like a stay-at-home wife, or even when I get a bit older and things slow down for me, I'm that type of person where I'll make my own detergent. I'm making my own soap. I'm making my own cleaners.
Resourceful. We love that.
And then I don't have a green thumb, but I would love to be able to learn how to have a green thumb. So I can grow my own plants. Grow my own herbs and vegetables and fruit.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm definitely that person. Because if I can do it for free or learn a skill, then I love that. And so that's how this came about. about.
I love that. And I think, you actually, it's funny that you said integrity, because that was literally something that I told a client today. And she was like, I was putting hair extensions, like the clip-ins. And she's like, is the color off? Like, let me know. I was like, girl, if it was not right, I would let you know. Like, plus, trust me, like, I will let you know. And I think that was the thing that she really appreciated, because, there's just people out there doing whatever it is to get by. And I just really do feel like that integrity goes so much further, because not only are you treating people the way you want to be treated, but it's like you're able to, people know that they can trust you.
That's right.
And I feel like if you have no trust, there's no business. Like, it's not happening. It's like you probably could have business, but it's not going to be the people that you really want and around.
And also in small business, they're buying into you.
Yeah. Yep.
They buy into me, and I want to be as faceless as possible, but I realize that really isn't the case. I can't really do that right now, right? I can become faceless, where it's just Virago, but as of right now, I know that people buy into me because they understand my integrity and my self-respect, and that I don't cut corners, and when I do things, it is intentional and thoughtful and professional and thought of. And so they buy into me, and so they buy into the product.
And that is, I'm glad that we're on this subject, because I don't really promote it a lot, but if you guys are looking for a little mentor, I do a little mentoring outside with, like, close friends and family. And that is the one thing that I have ran across when it comes to a person starting a business or a brand, and they're doing their pages. They're not showing their face, and I'm auditing the profile. I'm like, girl, where are you on here? Like, nobody knows the face of who they're buying from. And I think we are living in such a world where, of course, people are nosy, right? People want to know who you are. People want to know what you're into. And I always encourage people, when it comes to business, to not always be so businessy. Like, have some personal things in there that are giving more of a light to who you are, what your morals and values are, because I do feel like that's where you're going to find your tribe, because anybody can see a product.
That's right.
Anybody can see a product, but what makes that product more valuable is the person that is catering and curating it for you. And so if you're one of those people that are having a hard time getting out there, and I literally would I don't want to say force, but I would try to get people on my podcast who I know have good stories and working so hard. I'm like, girl, I just want to give you your flowers. Like, that's all I'm trying to do.
I love that.
And they're like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to. I'm like, girl, sit down, and we're gonna have a little discussion. And I love that I'm a very comfortable person to talk to, because people really do need to get themselves out there. It really is. I know it's hard, because I used to be one of those people too, where I'm just like, I'm comfortable kind of behind the scenes, and now y'all can't see me without being behind the scenes. Like, if I'm doing something, people know that they're gonna get BTS. Like, I love content creation. I'm a very visionary type of person. So when I'm doing creative directing or just hair and makeup, I really do like to make it a whole production where I'm getting the behind the scenes, because you guys get to see this beautiful display, right? But what do you think she was doing to get this, right?
Sweating.
Behind the scenes. And so I feel like that's where the work is at. It's like, this is the easy part, to be able to present it and look at it. Yeah. But it's like, it's the work that we're doing behind it and what we're doing to prepare for it. And, I'm for one, just really proud of you and just, what you're doing, and, just being able to sit here with you and talk to you as a person. Like, I feel like I just found a soul sister.
Oh, you did.
Like, and I'm just like, I love this. And so with any like big projects that you have coming up, or events that you want to share with everyone?
So I'm always doing pop-ups all over Houston, and I usually post them on my page and anything I have going on. So make sure that you're checking Instagram for those things. I would say also Entrepreneur of Impact. I'm really looking forward to that. The unique thing is, yes, you do vote for folks, right?
Right.
So you can vote for free, and then you can donate to vote for more votes.
Gotcha.
And so and I had to do a lot of research, because I didn't want to be a part of anything that was like,
little
a
scammy.
scam and, you know, AI and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to really check.
Yes.
And so I had someone that was like, no, this is real. My company uses the press release company for this.
Okay, good.
You know, Damon John collaborated on Instagram with his real page. I was like, okay, we're real.
Well, we got the resources.
Then it was like, okay, wait, why am I asking people to pay? Like, where's this going to? And so it goes to Gen Youth, which is a nonprofit.
Okay.
So then I looked into that nonprofit. I made sure it was connected.
Right.
So I was like,
I'm doing my homework.
Got to.
And you do have to. And I'm glad that you're going through that process, because a lot of people who are just new and they're getting these opportunities, because girl, I get emails all the time saying, hey, I want to collaborate. I'm paying this much to be able to do this. Yeah, I got to watch out for those emails to research those companies.
Yes.
Like it's really gross how like people are trying to like bait people and get people and literally get their hard earned money.
And vendor markets are the new hustle.
Yeah.
You will pay $300-$400 and they will put you in a corner and you will want your makeup. You will. How do you make your money back? Or there will be no one in the room,
right?
Because they never promoted, right? Ooh. So there's so many ways to sort of vet, you know, what's happening, because there are a lot of scams out there.
Right.
I even saw one that was supposed to be this beautiful flower garden. When I tell you, I was like, oh my God, I have to be a part of this.
Right.
And then I looked and I looked and I looked. And I said, wait a minute. This doesn't look like anything in Houston.
Right.
And I looked at the address. Girl, it was at this broken down shack. And I was oh no. But if you're just looking at social media, oh, it's bomb.
Right.
But then if you do your research and then you realize, and then the prices were so expensive.
Oh, girl.
Can you imagine spending $800 thinking you're going to get that money back? Meanwhile, you go to a parking lot.
Oh, girl.
Of a restaurant. It was unreal. And and so there's a lot of that. So you have to just really be careful with those things. And so because I had done so many, and I've done 65 markets for myself. Right. That doesn't even include the pop-ups for Sean's business, which again, we do 4 to 5. Busy. Right. So busy. I know a thing or two about operations, loading, all the things. Right. And so I'm actually in the process of writing an ebook, and I want to be able to offer lessons, recorded lessons to people.
Do that.
So that
put it on Patreon, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so. I mean, we talking business now. Like, here we go. We're talking business. But no, that's kind of like what I'll be doing with between mentorships, like hair and makeup courses, and then my exclusive podcast episodes, because I have some, some little podcast episodes I may not, want to put on the mainstream, but you got to go catch it on the Patreon. But Patreon's a really good way where you're really able to bring people into your world. So like you're able to create these tiers. I don't know if you ever heard of Patreon. Yeah. So like being able to tier it out where people can kind of come for that is so perfect for what you're doing, for sure. Definitely.
Because I mean, I know, and also it's not just setting up, it's operations, it's the art of the sale, it's leaning into your customers. There's so many different aspects to touch on when it comes to these. And you want to represent yourself well, whether that's uniform, making sure branding it coordinates, right?
Absolutely.
You should not have more than 3 colors.
Yes.
For branding, right? Why are we doing 8 different colors? Girl. It's expensive when you print it.
Girl,
it's just unnecessary, and it's not clean.
Yes.
But then you don't want to be boring, with just these really muted colors either.
Exactly.
Right? And so, we're working on that. I'm currently doing that. And also because I have so much knowledge in vendor markets and operations in general, because let's be real, like that is all operations.
Yeah, it is.
And making sure that, UX, like user experience and customer experience is all aligned, and it's easy and it's fast. Exactly. And a customer should be able to do, have a transaction with you under a couple of seconds. Right. Yes. It should not be, let me fumble around and figure this out on this didn't connect.
Get it together.
No, that's amateur hour. We're not doing that on that level, right? And so, working on that. And so Nicole from Houston Hotties, she's doing a Hottie Con. And so she's asked me to be the director to help vet other vendors.
Come on.
And so, with this big, expo, and it's really just making sure that we're thoughtful about the vendors, right? How much time is there in the schedule? Do we have this? What are they getting for their vendor fee? And so she's really good with making sure that people have what they need when they do their events. Like you're getting content. Right. There's a digital magazine, and you're going to get, the email list for all of the guests that attend, right? So we're working on all that together to ensure that everyone walks away from something valuable. Yeah. Whether you're an attendee, a vendor, a panelist, organizer.
Yeah. So. And I really love that, because when you're putting a lot of time and effort into all of this, and I've done definitely a couple pop-ups. I think the biggest one that I did was for a bridal expo, and that was a really good experience. I got a lot of brides that I literally had to like hire an assistant for, because I was like, how the hell am I about to get all these emails out, book these people? But you know, it goes back to just, you know, getting all of those connects, because it's like you don't have time to move around and maybe like, you know, chat it up with people and meet people, but it's like you could do your due diligence and afterwards reach out to some people that you may have saw. So I really love that you guys are creating a space for people that if you're not able to, you know, go out and like network in that time, or you know, there's the resources, and I feel like that's what people are wanting and needing. It's like, yeah, you can get the resources, but it's what you do with them. You know, people can give you the ingredients and the recipe, but it's like, are you going to follow them? Are you going to do it?
Follow up. That is another thing that I'm really big on. Like, I do what I say and I say what I do.
Yes. So, did y'all hear what she said? I don't think they heard you, sis. What you say?
I do what I say and I say what I do. So as a woman, you know, and I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, so your word is your bond. Right.
I love that.
And so when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And if for some reason I fall short, I'm going to let you know in advance.
Right.
Hey, I'm not able to meet this.
Right.
Is that okay? Or what can I do to make it better?
Right.
So I'm constantly going to communicate, and I think that's important, and that's integrity also, especially when it comes to business, right? Because you know, when it comes to business and even friendships, it's about showing up.
Absolutely.
I have a lot going on this weekend, but you never knew that, because I was like, I committed to this weeks in advance. And I loved and respected the fact that you had this planned out. And so I kept thinking to myself, if I didn't make it, I know that you have people lined up. I have to wait to the back of the line, you know, of all these people, because I know you're busy and I want to be respectful of that.
Right.
And so, you know, I made sure that all my moving parts still, you know, were fit, you know, able to get tended to, but also we are here.
Yes.
And that was important. And a busy day, very busy, just like you said, but we're here, right? Because you have to keep your commitments.
Yes.
And as a businesswoman, a businessman, a business person, a business human, you are so much more respected when you show up, when you support. And when you are out there and networking, ask questions, get to know what they want, listen. That is the biggest part of the sale, is listening, because how can you fix something you don't know what the problem is? So you have to listen, you have to ask questions.
And take the criticism.
You know? And so you may agree and sometimes you don't, right? Sometimes we have to be humbled.
Yes.
And then it's like
that word.
Right. And it's like, okay, well, wait a minute, let me think about this. Because in my previous business, you know, it was my baby. But I had to let it go. And I was like, damn. The numbers are just not, you know, math is not mathing, right? And so, but that actually helped me to put this business together. And I set this business up in 30 days. I'm talking about everything. LLC, website, photography, labels, bottling, all of it. 30 days.
See, she working. See, y'all talking about y'all ain't got time. We ain't trying to hear all that. You either doing it or you're not. And I think that was the thing that I learned from my because girl, time in my ADHD brain is non-existent. But I have to do things to prepare, because I can't fall short. You know, if I do, obviously, like I got to figure it out. But I think that was the one thing that I feel when it came to my my mentor, something that he used to drill in my head, because I just said it. I said, try. He's like, are you doing it or are you not doing it? And so like when people are like, you know, I'm trying, I'm like, well, girl, no, you're doing it. Like you're either doing it or you're not. And it looks like that you're doing it. And so like, I feel like it's like that mental switch when it's like, I'm trying or I'm doing it. It's just like, it's very more impactful where it's like, yeah, like I'm doing it. And cause trying is like doubtful, you know, it's a little doubt behind the word try. And you just got to go for it. And I guess that's the thing, the question I want to ask before we start wrapping it up is, for someone that is trying to pursue what you're doing, whether it's the skincare and all the other elements that you have going on, what is your biggest advice when it comes to either starting a business or to get into skincare?
Okay, so I would say if it comes to skincare or actually anything, you want to study your craft. You want to know your ingredients. You want to do your research from start to finish.
Yes.
You want to be a scientist.
Literally.
And trust me, when I'm creating these products and I'm creating the formulas, it looks like a science lab.
No, girl, I know.
Right?
That's why I tell people,
Exactly.
I can't wait to get back in the lab, because it's something that, like I said, I've went through the whole process. I think before I even purchased anything, I took like 2 months, like researching my herbs, oils, different concoctions and things like that before I even bought a thing. But yes.
Yeah, and then you also want to know your formulas and how much to put, how much not to put. So you want to make sure, because you're asking people to put things on their skin,
Right?
And you don't want to be in a position where you gave someone some sort of reaction. So you want to be safe.
Yes.
You want to make sure that you're getting advised on these things. But I would say that it's going to be trial and error for sure. And you have to push past it. And trial and error can be expensive.
Yes.
Right? So I would say out of these products, for some reason,
Girl,
the soap was the hardest thing to do.
really?
Everyone, let me tell you, TikTok makes it look easy. Okay? I was on TikTok, I got this. Girl, my soap turned out green.
Oh, girl.
It was brown. It was all kinds of different colors. And I was like, this is that. Sometimes it was too oily. Sometimes it was dry. And so, and it was expensive. It was expensive to experiment with those things. But you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
It's the only way to know.
Right. And then so you have to give yourself grace. I think that's one of the important things when you're starting a business. Give yourself grace. Appreciate the wins, appreciate your accomplishments, because I don't have a blueprint, right? I am the first entrepreneur in my family. So my dad dipped his toe into different things, but as far as at the level that I'm doing it, I am the only person. And so I've had to learn and also take feedback and then watch my peers. And then, again, collaboration. And let me tell you something. There's going to be people out there that are doing what you do. And they may be a little ahead of you, and maybe even behind you. Right. There is nothing like a supportive partner. Correct. In business, right? So I support other skincare companies. And because my vision is my own. Right. There's no reason to be jealous. There is no reason to hate. There is no reason to be the mean girl. There is no reason to be envious. God put something in your heart. Yes. It is your vision.
I got the tingles from that one.
And don't be upset when people can't see that vision. Right. Because there's family and friends that are not going to support you the way you expect them to. Exactly. And sometimes family and friends, you have to be able to prove it to them first. Right. Girl. And then when they see the strangers hop on, that's when they go. And, but you got to give them that grace, right? Exactly. And then, strangers are very helpful. And don't focus on the people that are not supporting. Focus on the people who are, and pour into them. Pour into yourself. Exactly. And just make sure that you are in your own lane. And yes, you can congratulate someone. But when you look to the side, that slows you down. Right. We know that in track, right? Yeah. When you run track, girl, you are right here.
Right. Yep. Tunnel vision.
That's right. You turn to the right. You just slowed yourself down. Right. Yeah. So don't worry about what other people are doing in that aspect. Look at your vision and just go forward. God put it in your heart. So don't squander it.
Yeah. I love that. I think that those were really good advice, because I do think that, especially for someone being the first to do it, you know, right? It's just like, you have to sometimes be your biggest cheerleader for yourself first. Yes, you have to believe in yourself. And I think that goes back to that mindset, right? Where it's just like, people are not going to see the vision that you have. They're not supposed to. It's yours. That's right. And I think as long as you know what you're putting your best foot for, you're doing the thing, you're doing the work, because a lot of people nowadays is
That's right. What can you give me?
That's right. It's just like, okay, well, I can help you, but what are we talking about right now? That's right. So I do feel like I'm a person that I love to, give people. I don't gatekeep anything. I want to be able to share. I love educating. I love being able to connect and see where I can help. Where can I help? Right. But at the same time, it's just it goes back to just you got to put in the work. You definitely do.
Yeah, I would also say too, in those times of slowness or stillness, I should say, in those times, because every business has it. Every person, every life, every human has a moment of stillness in some capacity, right? And so when you do, or if you feel, and this is the key, I think, if you feel like maybe sales are low or maybe things are not going the way you want them to, I think that you have to figure out how to be of service. Yes. So if you are of service to some sort of charity or something, personally, Sean and I both, we give to the homeless and unhoused, right?
I love that.
So we will create, we make like meals and things like that.
Yeah.
And so we give them out. We gave out blankets when it was cold. And that's just something that we do,
Yeah.
right? We've done that before I even had this business.
Right.
I've been doing this for a very long time.
I grew up in the volunteering as well, because with my mom being in
Exactly.
the service, that was something that we were always doing. So I love that my mom, instilled that in us to like be a service of people, because
That's right.
it really is like, it comes back, y'all. Like it really does. And I think that is why the last couple of years I have been taking more of my vision a little bit more on the forefront of things, because in my world, in my business, I'm creating everybody else's vision.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, I finally need to do this for myself. And not that I wasn't doing it for my business, but it's like I was putting more effort into everyone else because that's what I truly enjoyed. But I'm like, you know what? It's a me season. Like it's like respectfully, not like, selfishly, but it's like, I think I've done enough, and when those times come where I can help, like, I really feel like it's so fueling. It's so soul-fulfilling to be able to know that you played a part in doing something genuinely. Because it's like,
don't do it to look for it back. Like be in the moment and be present.
That part.
That is really, and pray on it.
Yes.
I'm very, God is in everything I do.
Yes.
God put me here in Houston, right? Because I was just I was in New York and I was so depressed. Yeah. And I was like, God, I don't even know what to do anymore. Yeah. My vision and what I wanted for my life is not working. Just take me wherever. Yes. I threw up my hands and I was just like, I don't even care anymore. Yeah. Whatever you want is what I want.
Girl, why? I feel like that's giving me the chills because, girl, I didn't do a vision board for the beginning of 2023. My vision board for 2024 was the same vision board with everything going on. I was like, I still got these goals to accomplish, because going through everything that I went through, moving back, it was not of my plans to have any of what was on my vision board. And my vision board was a prayer to God. And I literally just said to him, I said, God, put me and place me where you want me to be.
Yes.
That was in January, y'all. And March 8th, I was here. So it's
I'm March 15th.
Girl, okay. Yeah. So, see? And so I'm just like it, and I will tell you, like, I had to surrender to the whole idea, because I was in Vegas, I was doing things, I was accomplishing things, like everything I could have wanted was there outside of, my personal life. And it really took me moving here, surrendering, and really learning to be still, because of course I wanted to get up and work. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but God was like, no, we gonna wait it out. We're gonna wait it out. And I really think I did. It was the rest that I didn't know I needed, because I literally had to take my business, relocate everything. It's a lot. And girl, honestly, the business part was a lot. It was harder than the divorce, like, believe it or not. And I'm just like, this is crazy, because I've never relocated being my own boss. Yeah. So that was a whole thing within itself. But I definitely would have to say that surrendering and being still and just listening in that stillness is so powerful. Being in solitude is so powerful. Like, we're in an age where, we're outside, we're doing all these things. But if you're not taking time for yourself and you're not within your own energy, you have to truly know who you are, because this world will have you swaying in the wind, girl.
Yes. And do you know how many things God has saved me from that I swear I wanted, girl, that I swear I needed, I couldn't do without it, and God was like, no ma'am, and saved me from myself, girl. And then years later I was like, oh, that's why. This is why. This is why. Yeah. I wanted this so bad, and I cried and prayed, and why can't I have this? And I'm doing all the right things, and then lo and behold, years later I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you were saving me from myself. Hello. And I had no idea.
Yeah, I love those moments, and it's just like those ooh-ha moments where you're just like, okay, Lord, I see you. You saw for me before I saw for myself, and I love you for that. Thank you. Yeah. But I love everything that I was able to, like, just being able to experience you as a person. You are just such a gorgeous, like, light, and just a really beautiful person. Like, I'm still getting to know her, but it's just like the moment I met her, saw about her products. I'm like, girl is doing the damn thing. Okay.
Thank you.
And, you know, it really does warm my heart to know that there are, you know, women of color that are really doing it out there, because it is hard for us to kind of get ourselves out there and be taken serious. Because I just feel like we just don't get taken serious all the time. You know, we kind of have to prove ourselves a little bit. And sometimes we don't want to have to do that. Sometimes we just want to show up to be, you know, show up as we are and be accepted as we are. And like you said, getting into that alignment with people, I think is a really important thing. It's like, it's something that we all wish that we could have, right? It's like being able to relate, being able to be understood. And so, you know, you being on the podcast, sharing your story, like, you know, just all the things that you're doing, like I'm proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
just I'm excited for you. I'm like the biggest hype girl, like online, like when I can be on there, because I be all over the place. So sometimes I'm just on and I'm hopping off. But I love engaging with my tribe, because it's like, I know like people are out there trying to get it, and people are working hard. And we're still humans, y'all. We are artists, we're all these things, but we still have lives outside of that. And sometimes I think people forget that. And it's like, we're human too, you know, we have other things outside of this. And so when we are giving our all and we're giving you guys something and we're creating something and giving you guys an experience, it's like we appreciate the feedback. And so with that being said, is there anything else that you want to put out there that you want to share, that you have coming up or looking forward to?
Well, two things. I want to also give you your flowers, because you do so much. And while we haven't known each other very long, I kind of like stand and stalk you a little bit. And so you do. So she's a model, she does makeup and hair and design and content and all the things, and your podcast. And you were so organized with the operations of it, right? And I respect operations because that's my realm, right?
Right.
And so you had your questions and you're like, book this out. And you know, it was just so very clear. And I have, you know, and thank you for inviting me, right?
Yes,
there's some
I told you when I met you, girl, I need you. I need you on the show. I'm getting ready to start it.
You did. And you know, some folks, they are like, oh yeah, I want you to come on my podcast. And then you find out that it's $1,000 to do so. And so
no, y'all ain't doing that, are
yeah, they are. And so, but you are here, and you genuinely want to see people win. And you want to hear people's story. And that authenticity is very rare. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I want to give you your flowers on that, because authenticity, unfortunately, is too rare.
Yeah, it is. I'm finding that out
in a world of social media, right?
Absolutely.
And to the point where you were saying earlier, like when it comes to faceless Instagram and all that stuff, people want to see you. They want to see authenticity,
right?
And so I used to feel like everything has to be perfect, right? And in some aspects, it does have to be,
right?
You know,
it's
but
a standard you're going for sure.
Right. But then I'll also, you know, take pictures or take video and do things when I'm not in hair and makeup, right? Because I'm not in hair and makeup all day,
right?
So to be able to see, knowing that is my objective,
right,
is to continue to, you know, give authenticity, because I can be very professional, and sometimes I'm like, Dove, not always, right?
And I feel like too, like I think that's what I'm learning too, just with that, is just like people want to see, of course people want to see the good, but I feel like it's good to share the ugly too, because it's like, I think that's the thing, like, and exactly. And I think that's the thing, like being a hair and makeup artist, there is a standard, you know, for us to like, when we're walking in a room, like hair and makeup ready. But I will tell y'all a little secret, okay? Y'all come listen closely. Us hair and makeup artists, we like to be in our PJs, no makeup, hair all thrown up, and just chilling, eating 2,000 calories in one setting, because we didn't eat all day. Okay. So when it comes to that type of content, I think people do appreciate it, because it's just showing human, you know, it's showing like, oh, she's a person. She is, you know, she does have some things that she's not good at or whatever. And I think that's what's going to make you relatable to your audience. I think honestly, like I feel like a lot of people are in my stories. Like, I feel like I love being able to bring people along my day. I like being able to see like what I'm doing, or, you know, catching you guys up, because sometimes I don't have, you know, all day to create content and post, but it's like, if you're in my stories, you know what I'm doing, you know what I'm not doing, and that's where y'all gonna catch me. So if y'all need to see what I'm doing, y'all hop on the stories
and engage and like and forward and share and comment.
Correct.
You know, even those things, because you work really hard in your content. I can tell.
Yeah.
You're doing shoots all the time.
Yes.
And you're prepping, and that stuff takes a lot of time to schedule, book, and it gets expensive. And collaborating schedules and coordinating schedules and all the things, right? And so sometimes, you know, you put all this into something, and then you, like I said, you get like 2 likes. So if you want to support your girls,
okay, come on now.
You know, share this podcast, you know, listen to it and really absorb and follow and share and all the things, because, you know, like I said, you know, I can tell that you really want to push businesses forward. And I really, really appreciate that.
I do.
Because not everybody wants to do that. And there's a lot of mean girls out there, unfortunately. And it's like, I'm going to be 43 this year. I have no time. I have no time for the mean girls.
Find somebody else.
Yes. Get somebody else to do it. That's just not me, you know?
No, I love that.
I love that, you know, like you are very authentic in everything that you do. And so I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you so much. Oh,
yes.
Give me a hug, girl. Oh my gosh. Oh. Y'all, this is really great. Like this is truly like why I'm starting this. And like, I love that, you know, this is what the podcast is all about. It's just being able to get people to come on here, tell their story, being able to relate and really just put everything on the table and just be like vulnerable, transparent, because I do feel like when we're on the go, we're business people, we're doing our things. It's like, we're not telling people all the things that we endure in this business, right? So I think this is a good way to let people know like the real behind certain things, but not only just that, being able to, like you said, get more of that awareness of who you are as a person, because you guys ever like, you know, you listen to like, let's just say like an artist or like an actress who is, you know, doing their job, but then when you get them and you get to see them in a podcast and they're answering certain questions, you get to like learn their mind, their values, like what they're into. I feel like it puts another layer to, you know, not only just your audience, your clients, but even just to be able to express yourself, because that is something I feel like every business person wants to do, right? Is to express themselves. And that's how we do express ourselves. We express ourselves through our work, through our crafts, through our content, networking, meeting people. So it really is just being able to come on, have you guys on here, tell your story, get to know you so other people can get to know you, and really just share that. So I'm happy that you made it. That you're just here for me and yourself. But I appreciate it. And she, by the way, she's my second interviewee. So I feel like this is like just the beginning of everything, but everything is I'm very hopeful for this season. Like, especially being out for a whole year. So I took a whole year off. But
you'll be listening and sharing.
Yes,
and all the things.
Exactly. And so before we wrap up, I'm gonna have you let them know where they can find you, and we'll end it off.
Okay, so you can see us on Instagram, and it is Virago Lux Skin, as well as TikTok. I didn't take it off of my phone, so I happen to still have it. Virago Lux Skin. And of course, we have our website, which is viragolux.com, ViragoLux. And so with Virago Lux Skin, you can get your skincare, your beard care. We have subscriptions. We're always doing different promos. We have pop-up boutiques all over Houston, so that if you say, you know what, I really just want to feel, touch, and smell, visit us, and you'll get the whole spiel. You get to meet me, I get to meet you. We bond over skincare. It's a win-win.
I love that. Yes, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. So if you guys are new to the show, thank you for coming. If you are a regular, thanks for coming back. If you want to hit that subscribe button, help your girl out. We're trying to grow and do our things. And then I would like to just thank everyone for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next.